Hello and welcome, beautiful souls, to my channel. Happy Saturday to all of you out there. I'm hoping you're all doing well, and I hope that you're off to a great start this Saturday morning. So I want to go ahead and welcome you once again. Today is my weekly ancestral pattern video, so we're going to be looking at certain ancestral patterns. So this is about looking at the pros and cons from your ancestral lineage. So basically some of the benefits of your ancestry, and of course some of the karma that is attached to your particular family. And so we all have these ancestral patterns that we work through, and it's part of the karma. It's part of something that we have to clear out this lifetime. So these are excellent learning opportunities for us. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started with the message. So I'm going to be using the Wisdom Keepers here. This is the back of the card. And here's just one card, for example, for those of you curious about what they look like. I went ahead and got a new camera and a new recorder here, so hopefully things are going to work out fine. I hope the video quality is definitely a lot higher, and I'm hoping that the audio is coming through very clear here, just as a heads up for you guys. Now, I will be reading out of the book for the Wisdom Keepers. They are pretty lengthy. It's quite a bit to memorize, so unfortunately I don't have these cards memorized. Let me know if you guys want me to read the story attached to it. It's basically like a parable that's attached to the card. I don't read that simply because I want to cut down on the time, but if you guys would like that, I'm more than happy to do that for you. For those of you who are interested, I do have an Instagram page. If you want to join me there, I do daily readings on there, and once I get a higher following, I will be doing pick-a-card readings for those of you interested. And as always, if you enjoy this content, please do hit that like and subscribe button. It's greatly appreciated. All right, so let's see here what I'll be pulling. Two cards. One for the light attribute and one for the shadow attribute according to your lineage. So those of you drawn to this video, this is going to be a message for you. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started here. I'm going to cut the deck. Alright, wow. So for the positive or the light attribute here, I'm going to go ahead and set these cards down. We have Freshness. That's a number 1 card. Fantastic. It's an absolutely beautiful card. I love how she has flowers on her cheeks there. That smile is just absolutely beautiful. And for the shadow attribute, we have Style. Very interesting. It's a number 8. So we have 1 and 8. These numbers could be significant towards for you. But let's go ahead and read these. Number 1 here. So, this card is, the genius of freshness is to bring something to the world that no other has ever seen before. I'm getting Aquarian energy, interestingly enough. So when I look at you and you're feeling down, I know that nothing is innately wrong. Your wise body is recharging, and something deep and creative is growing in your beautiful belly. Please do not worry if you don't have a clue about what's being born. Just do your best to trust and allow for your feelings and take a little me time. Soon enough, you will feel renewed and ready to burst out into the world with freshness and a new perspective. The more you learn how to embrace your sadness with open arms, the more energized people will feel when they are around you. They will see the light and fire in your soul. Remember, the aliveness and beauty you see in me are in you too. Your joy is more resilient and contagious than you can even imagine, and its timing is perfect. So embrace where you are and trust that your bright light will always appear just when it can have its most inspiring impact. Wow, that is beautiful. Questions for contemplation here. Do you often find yourselves judging, overanalyzing, or trying to get rid of certain feelings? How does this impact your body? Which of your feelings do you tend to push away the most because of its heaviness? Now, since this card is in the light attribute, I'm getting that a lot of you have a very good understanding of your feelings. You're able to embrace these feelings, so that means you're very emotionally mature. You're able to reflect on things, and not only that, your family may have been in particular, the feminines were likely very good with self-care, a self-care routine in order to take care of their bodies. So some of you may have good eating habits as a result. Others of you simply know when it is time to recharge. So one thing that your ancestors taught you, something that has been spread out through the generations, is how it is, what it means to be laid back, when to relax, when it is that you simply step back into your feminine power and you allow things to come to you. So this is a very, very important thing to have. That yin energy allows you to attract things in. And I'm also getting here that you inspire others. You're very inspirational. Your mere presence has a magnetic effect to others. So some of you, I'm getting a lot of Gemini energy here. Some of you could have Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus in Gemini, because Gemini is a chatterbox. They're very chatty. They're very vivacious when it comes to social interactions. They love using their hands. And some of you, I'm getting, could even be Sagittarians. I know they're complete opposites, but at the same time, they do share some similar traits. Now, that is in the light attribute. So that's a gift from your ancestors to you. Let's go ahead and look at style here. This is in the shadow aspect. So these questions for contemplation are going to be incredibly important. So let's go ahead and read into this card. Style is more than skin deep. It is the cutting edge of creation itself. The shadow aspect of this card is mediocrity. Interesting. I have a hunch there is a voice in you longing to be heard. I am here to encourage you to stop worrying about blending in. Dare to be original. Don't just follow the trends. Be a rebel with a cause. Embrace your own style and let it come from deep inside. When I see you doing something that others may think is crazy or too much, I know that you are as sane could be. Maybe there are people who won't stick around. I understand how painful that can be. I also promise you, there will be others who will be so inspired by your style that they'll catch the authenticity bug. So please, get comfortable with being a fringe dweller. Trust that the world will catch up with you in its own good time. No matter what your passion is, give it some air. Set it free and expect nothing less than exquisiteness. That is beautiful. So I'm getting heavy Aquarian energy here, interestingly enough, because Aquarius is the rebel, right? They're very rebellious. They like to do unorthodox things. They're very eccentric. So let's see here. Here's the questions for contemplation. These are very important for you. In what ways did you learn to blend in, to be like everyone else? Where are you still blending in, but secretly wanting to leap out? What would you do if you weren't afraid of what others would think of you? Is there a risk you've been longing to take in service of a passion, but you've been afraid of failure or success? What is your fear? So these are incredibly important questions to ask yourself, since this is in the shadow aspect. Some of you were taught at a young age to blend in with everyone. And this, of course, is only natural. We are social creatures, and so we want nothing but to fit in. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember what teenagehood was like, but everything was about fitting in. Everything was about what the newest trends were, how you could be just like everyone else because you didn't want to be an outlier. There was a fear of rejection there that had been instilled in us. For those of you drawn to this video, there are others who had a natural authenticity all throughout their entire life because it was something they were taught to embrace at a young age. And you, I'm sure, have known people like that since a young age who have that. I remember, interestingly enough, earlier today I was thinking about a girl that I met I knew her in elementary school, and then I went to school with her again in high school. And she was the kind of person who would openly say, I love myself. And back in those days, everyone was like a little bit weirded out by that. We're like, what do you mean you love yourself? Like, that sounds a little conceited. Interestingly enough, she was onto something there, because we're supposed to love ourselves and our authenticity. And she stood in her authenticity. She carried herself with that love, and people noticed her for it. And she wasn't She wasn't like over the top about it either. She wasn't like excessive. There wasn't a lot of ego there. And that was a very beautiful trait that this girl carried with her, that she was taught at a young age, which is incredibly important. So in what way are you fitting in or trying to fit in? What is it that you want to do that you fear that others will likely look down on you for? Like, for example, these kind of things like tarot and all that, oracle readings, some people out there are afraid of this, and there may be people in your circle who knew, for someone out there, this is likely a true message, someone out there, if they knew, they might not want to speak to you again. And so the question is, why? Why do you entertain this? If this is part of your authentic self, if this is part of your spiritual path, your spiritual journey, why do you care so much about what these people think? If this is something that makes you happy and it makes your soul sing, what does their opinion matter? So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the tarot here. We're going to be using an ancestor spread. I have the Ethereal Visions tarot here that I'll be using. Got some notes here that I'll be referencing just so I don't forget the spread. So let's see what role your ancestors played in your life currently. So interestingly enough, your ancestors at this time seem to be trying to hand you this Ace of Pentacles. So this is very potent energy here because it's a brand new beginning. It's a material offering. Your ancestors may be trying to ground you right now. There may be a lot of ethereal kind of 5D experience, and they're trying to get you more grounded into the material. I'm getting kind of High Priestess vibes of kind of being out there. Some of you may have very vivid dreams or get lost easily in imagination, which is fantastic. However, we do live in a 3D world, so it's important for us to be grounded at times, right? So grounding exercises are likely very important for you at this time. So let's go ahead and see a skill that your ancestors gifted towards you. Wow, we got another ace here. We have the Ace of Cups. Your ancestors taught you love and overflowing love. Some of you are likely helpless romantics, or hopeless, excuse me, not helpless, that is a bad word. But hopeless romantics. You know, you love openly. You open your heart to everyone. And you likely have had that experience with several partners, or maybe you've, people that you've loved throughout your entire life, whoever may have come into your life, you've immediately simply opened your heart to them because it's in your nature. And this is actually a skill. Interestingly enough, some people may not think that because this is the skill of empathy and compassion. This is very high vibrational energy, and the divine is the source of love. And so you were gifted this beautiful gift from your ancestors, a connection, a true deep connection in love and intuition. As I was saying, High Priestess vibes earlier, right? The Ace of Cups also does speak of intuition. And spirituality, being able to connect with your emotions, is incredibly important. So let's see what traits you inherited from your ancestors. So we have more earth energy here with the Page of Pentacles. So this is about learning new things. Some of the traits that your ancestors gave you were to question things and to learn new things. So some of you may be very educated. Some of you may seek knowledge, things that you could ground in reality, ideas. Some of you may have gone to school as a result because it was in your lineage. Maybe your parents went to school, like higher levels of education. And if that's not the case, maybe you guys are prone to just wanting to learn. I see very voracious minds here. So this is a trait that they gave you, this youthful energy as well. It's very youthful. Some of you may have just a natural beauty to you. I'm trying to see if I get any more from this card here. There's a lot of inquisitiveness in this card. From a very practical set of, like a mind frame, or frame. Trying to find the words here. But you're very practical in your approach in life. This could be excellent common sense as well. So let's see what is one of the lessons carried through by your ancestors. Okay, so this is quite interesting. Here we have the Four of Pentacles. So this could likely be a part of the lesson as we were talking about in style, because style was speaking about being closed off, right? And you can see how she's kind of closed off because she's caressing this. It's almost like I'm seeing these are the ideologies you grew up with and you're holding on to them very tightly. So this could be a lesson that you need to learn about how to be expansive, right? Because the Four of Pentacles is very restricted. There's constraint in here. It's about conservation, right? Because she's holding on to that pentacle for almost like dear life. It's like she can't get enough of this pentacle. And so, interestingly enough, we have a lot of earth energy. Some of you may be very attuned to, I was getting health earlier. Some of you may have holistic practices I'm getting as well. But this is a lesson also in scarcity mindset. And I'm only saying that because you likely have been taught to save up your money and like hold on to it for dear life. So this could be a lesson that you learned from your ancestors that needs to be broken apart. It's about expansiveness. So right, freshness. It's time to take that unique energy that you have and inject it into your regular life, into your daily life. Take that, if you feel like expressing yourself in a certain way, it's about being able to express yourself. When we restrict ourselves, it causes us inner turmoil because our soul is trying to reach out. So let's see here. How can you deepen your connection with your ancestors? Interesting, we have the Knight of Swords here. This is more Aquarian energy for me. This is about determination. This is determination. This is a very determined energy. I'm getting the sense that your ancestors are calling you to be... This is also the first sword card that came out. Interestingly enough, we have Ace of Cups and the Pentacles. This is all feminine energy. And then finally, we have this very powerful masculine energy. The Knight of Swords is very decisive. So some of you may even be indecisive, but there's a sense of needing to go out there and get what it is that you want. It's quite warm in here. But with the Knight of Swords, there's just that, it's very driven energy. When the Knight of Swords figures out what he wants, he goes and gets it. There's no hesitation. It's almost like a one-track mind. It's almost obsessive in nature. The shadow aspect of this card would be obsessiveness. However, I'm seeing this as more of expansiveness and growth, right? There's a very... there needs to be more dedication. When you become more dedicated to yourself, to the things that you want and you desire, you're actually connecting with your ancestors. You're breaking these karmic bonds that have been carried through your lineage. So let's see what... Alrighty guys, so for whatever reason the camera switched off. This is a new camera, so I'm kind of working through some issues here. But we ended at the Knight of Swords. Now I was saying what the next message from your ancestors was. And so we had the Three of Swords, the Page of Wands, and the Emperor. Now, the way I was interpreting this particular message from your ancestors with the Three of Swords, it's about experiencing heartbreak, right? You've likely experienced some sort of heartbreak in your life, and this is something natural that we all go through. We all have dashed expectations in love, whether it be in romantic partnerships or with our family. Some of you may have experienced this because of this Ace of Cups that we were referring to earlier about being open and expansive and giving of your heart. And this is a perfectly natural experience for all human beings to have. There have been novels written about this. There have been movies, books, right? With the Page of Wands, though, it's about taking this energy and transmuting it into brand new, inspiring creation. This is about transmuting this energy through creation, not being afraid to pick yourself up and dust yourself off and do it all over again. Each painful lesson that we go through is a learning opportunity for us. And so this Page of Wands is similar to that energy of when you were a kid and let's say you were learning how to swim or how to ride a bike. When you finally experience you fell off the bike and then you're like, I'm gonna get up and try again. You fell off the bike and then finally you got it right, and it was like that excitement and passion and joy that comes from it, right? So it's about stepping into that inner child energy again. With the Emperor here, this is more masculine energy. This is a sign of Aries here, so it's the doer, the starter. And so it's about starting new things in your life. It's about taking that inspiration and moving forward in your life. Right? The Emperor is kind of in a sense playing a chess game. And this chess game is a figurative reference to our lives, right? We move around the pieces in our life in order to fit our needs, in order to fit what it is that we desire to do. The emperor knows what he wants and he goes for it. And he doesn't ask if I can, he says, I know I can. And finally, we do have the lovers at the bottom of the deck here. So with the lovers here, it often speaks about the Garden of Eden and the love between Adam and Eve. And so this is duality, right? The divine masculine, divine feminine within us. And it's also when we've reached that love, this is the bond that we create with this person, right? When it's pure love. And so this card speaks of choices, but one of the things that isn't referred to often is about the choice of self and how we purify ourselves to enter into this state of ecstasy, of pure love, right? So it's about removing the baggage, it's about clearing out the past pain and moving in a direction of love. So this is what your ancestors are trying to get you into, taking control of your life, not making yourself the victim of it. Does that make sense? I certainly hope it does. It's not easy, I understand. You know, we've all gone through it, but it's about picking yourself up, dusting yourself off, and saying, I'm going to do this again for me. All right, so finally, we're going to end with the Angel and Ancestors Oracle cards to see any additional messages that your ancestors have for you. All right, so we have one card that came out already. All right, so I'm actually being guided towards taking all these cards, even though there were quite a few. But we have the first card here, surround yourself with protective energy. So if those of you who haven't been doing rituals or like using your imagination to create like a circle of light around you, I would suggest you start doing this because it's important to protect your energetic field. With the shapeshifter here, transform and unveil your gifts. Some of you are shapeshifters. Some of you have the ability to shapeshift, maybe in your dreams, of seeing things from a different lens, from a different perspective. And this is about transforming yourself and unveiling your gifts, as the card says. As I was saying, transmutation is very important, and your ancestors are leading you in this direction. With the Wise One card here, it says grow within your current situation, not your past situation, not the future, which is not quite there, right? It's always in the moment that we're at. So it's about working with what we have now and how can we use the situation we're in now to propel ourselves forward. Finally, we have Star Ancestor, follow the voice of your soul. As the Freshness card and the Style card we're referring to here, this is about following the authenticity of yourself, which is absolutely beautiful. When we step into that energy, we're in a much happier place and our soul begins to sing because we're finally open and expansive and joyous. And finally, we have the Animal Guardian, trust your instincts. Your intuition will always lead you. It's an inner knowing that you have, that you've carried since you were born. It's something that's there. It's innate. It's a part of our being. It's our soul telling us, nudging us in the right direction. So listen to that. If you have a gut feeling about something, listen to that and move forward. So with that being said, viewer, I want to thank you so much for being here today. If you enjoyed this content, please do hit that like and subscribe button. It's greatly appreciated. I'm sending you so much love and so much light. Take care.